humingi po tayo ng listahan ng mga top traders nationwide or per region. Walang merong hawak nito. Paano nangyari yon? Walang nagmo-monitor nito?
Kong Tonchi, pwede bang marinig si Admin Larry?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yun po yung nakakalungkot. Wala po talaga tayong listahan na ng mga traders na ito. We used to have this list, no? Kasi lahat yan dumadaan sa NFA before RTL kasi kailangan sila magrehistro. Trader man yan, miller man yan, wholesaler, retailer. Dati po, kompleto talaga. Yun po yung sinisikap nating ibalik ngayon dito sa RISE Act o kung ano man yung magiging successful na bill na lumusot, no? Yun po yung gusto natin sanang ibalik yung regulatory powers ni NFA.
Nawala po yung listahan na yan dahil sa RTL, ganun po ba?
Mr. Chair, hindi na po kasi required silang kumuha ng lisensya or magparehistro sa NFA.
Mm-hmm.
So,
however, wala bang hindi pa nakasasapat ang existing powers ng DA, for example, to require some sort of registration for monitoring purposes? Hindi ba kaya niyong gawin niya? Hindi na natin kailangang mag-intay ng amendments o bagong batas para lang at least monitoring. Wala bang ganung administrative powers or tawagin residual powers, whatever, ang DA para gawin yon?
As far as DA is concerned, sir, Mr. Chair, there's none.
Bakit po? Bakit
because
hindi ba makuha yan sa sa administrative order or what?
Mr. Chair, may I respond? Because this was a mandate given to NFA, and in fact, at that time, you cannot trade in rice without the registration and license. But when this was taken out, it took out the power. So, where will you base your regulatory power from if the power was taken away from you? So that's the situation, Mr. Chair.
Or Mr. Chair, should we be asking the DTI then? No, na since mga traders sila, they're operating in the open market. DTI na ba ngayon ang dapat na nagmo-monitor sa mga rice wholesalers, traders, etc.?
Pwede ba sagutin nyo na lang yan? Kasi tingin ko very important yung katanungan. Diretsuin na natin. Why don't we have the list? So meron ba tayong pwedeng pagkunan? At kung hindi rin natin makukuha sa DTI, bakit hindi? Kasi tingin ko napaka-importante nung tanong para kung talagang wala, malaman natin. Diba? Para, kasi napaka-importanting data eh.
May DTI yata dito, Mr. Chair?
May DTI. Wala tayong DTI.
I see DTI nameplate.
Yes, Kong Tonchi, they were here earlier. But
wala na?
Unfortunately, kasi na-mention natin hanggang 12 lang tayo. So parang I think they have committed to meet.
Pero Mr. Chair, I think importanteng, at hindi ako makapaniwala na ang Republika ng Pilipinas ay walang anumang kakayahan na makaproduce ng listahan ng mga rice traders. Nagre-rehistro pa rin yan kahit papano. Di ba? Yes, sir.
Mr. Chair, sa ngayon po, wala pong kapangyarihan ng Department of Agriculture na i-require ang sino mang nagninegosyo ng bigas na maglisensya at magrehistro. Kaya nga po, matatawa kayo, di po ba dati nagkaroon tayo ng ayuda dapat doon sa mga magbibigas? Hindi po natin alam kung sino sila because we don't have the list. And that is the current situation now, Mr. Chair.
We had to rely on the LGU for that listing.
Yes, and Mr. Chair, that is why in the proposed new RISE Act, we included that power because that is something that we miss. But we are being kept on being asked to report on something that we lost already. And that's why we requested, Mr. Chair, that it be included explicitly in those powers that we're asking for. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Thank you, Kong Tonchi. Anyway, he is already with the Bureau of Customs, but we have our former USEC in DTI, si Attorney Ubero. Attorney, baka just share your insights siguro on the monitoring. Galing ka dyan sa DTI, sir, di ba?
Mr. Chair, yung sa monitoring ng mga agri-products, I think partly because DA has very few units at the provincial or city level na. Kami yung DTI before was already doing that for them as to the monitoring of prices. But as to the registration of traders involving agri-products, parati hindi kami yung DTI, as far as nagahalo, Mr. Chair, DTI pala pinag-usapan. Yung DTI, hindi makapasok basta-basta sa agri-product kasi may jurisdiction. If you talk about Price Act, Consumer Act, it's really the DA. Pero as to the requiring them to register, dun nagkaka-problema kasi that's an added regulatory function. Pero kung Price Act, Consumer Act, it's DA, but to require registration, yun yung na wala under the RTL with NFA.
So, Mr. Chair, parang lumalabas ngayon, completely unregulated, tapos bulag ang gobyerno sa mga ginagawa ng mga rice traders, no? At sa discussion natin so far, lumalabas sila ang pinakamalaking nakikinabang sa pag-maintain ng mataas na presyo ng bigas, no? Well, Mr. Chair, tingin ko naman, imposible na walang existing powers ang iba't ibang ahensya ng gobyerno para maremedyohan ito. I mean, short of amending a law or passing a new law, ay siguro kailangang harapin. I mean, how can we address the problem of profiteering? Sa esensya, parang ganun po ang lumalabas, ay binabagsak talaga yung presyo. Tapos, hindi naman natin alam kung sino yung mga entities na dapat bantayan in the first place, hindi natin mapangalanan. Okay? Ang isang punto na lang po, Mr. Chair, ay kaugnay doon sa support price. No? So, kanina, si DA Secretary mismo sabi niya, inaral daw niya yung batas ng Vietnam, ang kanilang support price ay yung cost of production ng magsasaka plus a 30% margin. Tapos kanina naman, yung taga-IRI, may binanggit about India, I think, na yung support price nila ay cost of production plus 15%. Okay. Ang naririnig ko sa DA, support price natin, cost of production lang. Bakit wala tayong, parang mahirap yun, no? Na ano naman ang incentive ng magsasaka kung magpapakahirap siya na umani, tapos ang tiyak na makukuha lang niya ay kung ano yung investment niya. No, so ano ba ang tingin ng DA sa ganito? No, na the support price should have a built-in margin as well to incentivize the farmers to continue producing. No, na may kita sila. So, kaya po pwede po bang magpalawig hinggil dun sa proposed support price ng DA?
Yes, Mr. Chair, if I may. Ngayon po kasi parang lumalabas na mga 14.50 ang average production cost per kilo of palay. And the proposed number that we have is between 17 to 18 pesos, up to 19 pesos. So that's about 20% po, of the production cost. Although that number, kaya nga po yung number medyo parang it's a range. Dahil sa totoo naman po, merong mga lugar po naman na mababa yung production cost po nila. Meron po namang lugar na medyo mataas po yung production cost nila. That's why we're working on that average number po.
Okay, so meron
So
pong
around 20%.
around 20% na margin na built into the support price. Okay, that's good to know. Tapos finally, tama po ba ang plano ngayon ng ang proposal ng DA ay i-extend yung import ban up to December and then open importation for the month of January? Ganun po ba yung sinabi nyo? Tapos sa Pebrero, anihan na uli. So may ban na naman? Is that how is my understanding of the presentation correct?
Sa ngayon po, ang malinaw po na recommendation namin, which we already submitted to the President, and I think the President has already acted on it and decided on it based on the representation of the Secretary, is to have the ban until December 31 of this year. As to what will happen after is yet to be decided upon depending on the situation po. But nabanggit po kanina na pwedeng mabuksan pero wala pong ng isang buwan, pero there's nothing, I think, unless it is in writing, then siguro po I would like to stick to the idea that as far as the official recommendation is concerned, it is to continue with the ban until December 31.
Okay. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. Actually, ang huling apila ko lang sa komite ay lumalabas talaga, at least batay sa naririnig natin, ay parang tali ang kamay ng gobyerno as far as monitoring and regulating the behavior of rice traders is concerned. No? At ang malinaw na ang pangunahing dahilan ng pagpapanatili na mataas ng presyo ay dahil napakalaki ng tubo na kinikita ng mainly ng mga traders. Definitely, yung mga magsasaka natin, hindi napupunta sa kanila yung pakinabang. So, napupunta talaga dun sa mga traders. At kahit pa, sabi nga, kahit pa itigil natin yung importation, ay nananatiling bagsak pa rin naman yung presyo ng farm gate prices, pero nananatiling mataas yung presyo. So, kailangan talaga tutukan at tiyakin na maibalik yung kapangyarihan ng gobyerno na ma-monitor at ma-regulate ang mga traders para mapigilan yung sobrang pagsasamantala nila sa mga magsasaka at the expense of our farmers. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Tonchi. At this point, may we hear from our co-chair, Honorable Miro Kimbo?
Salamat, Mr. Chair. Actually, mga tanong na lang ito ni Speaker na dahil kinailangan niya na umalis. Kay Admin Larry lang ng NFA. Ang katanungan niya is, ano bang limitation on the part of the NFA? Pinag-usapan natin acquisition. Ang pinag-usapan naman natin ay disposition. Excuse me. Nasamid ako sa broken rice. Ano bang limitations sa disposition? Ano bang, what is tying your hands down?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Sa batas po, pwede lang kaming mag-dispose during times of calamities and emergencies. Yung pangatlong mode po ay yung tinatawag na auction bago po maging unfit for human consumption yung bigas natin or aging rice na siya. That's why yun po nabanggit ko kanina, this month tayo po ay magpapa-auction ng 1.2 million bags of aging rice.
So, paano yung route sa sinabi mong tatlo? Ano yung, saan pumapasok yung 20 peso rice? Kasi sa inyo yung dumadaan. Tama ba ako?
Mr. Chair, kami po yung nagpo-provide ng stocks, pero actually ang i-implement po niyan ay ang Department of Agriculture through the Kadiwas and si FTI. Si FTI po yung bumibili sa amin ng stocks at 33 pesos. Tapos yung 13 pesos ay sinasubsidize po hati ang national government. 650 at yung LGU na nag-participate, 650 din po yung kanilang participation. Pero pagkadiwa po na kontrolado or ang DA ang talagang nag-open without the LGUs, yung buo pong 13 pesos is being subsidized by the national government through the Department of Agriculture.
So, yun po yung katanungan, no? So, in terms of disposition,